Hello internet. I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to hold the camera. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to find a way. Pain in the arse. I wanted to do a video about the police. They have a hard job. Albeit, that doesn't excuse hiding behind badges. Now, in my experience, which admittedly is only recent and fairly extensive now, unfortunately, the guys and girls on the street are like huge. I have huge respect for. They are just normal guys and girls and other that are doing a hard job, and they're doing the best that they can with the tools that they've got. To be fair, everyone is doing the best that they can with the tools that they've got. But that sort of that sympathy sort of dies out when someone's acting abusively and knowingly hurting someone else. That's just not, that doesn't get on my radar of, yeah, you lose sympathy sort of at that point. When you take it personally, I guess, and you've been fucked by people repeatedly. But no, you know, the guys and girls on the street have got a fucking hard job, because some of the people they've been dealing with will be absolute arseholes, and some of the situations that they'll find themselves in will be incredibly emotive in different ways. Angry, sad, scary. The police have got a very difficult job, and they do it to the best of their abilities. Are they afforded enough training? Are they afforded enough mental health support? They say that they're giving it, because I questioned them. Every time I got arrested, I was just chatting to them. Well, maybe not the first few times, but in the end, I ended up chatting to them. They're just normal guys and girls. Like, I can make friends with anyone. So I ended up making friends in there. The two guys that arrested me last time, I ended up making friends with them. And they told me about, he goes to watch, just sometimes books himself at a hotel and goes and just watches daytime telly. That's really cool to have the opportunity. Anyway, yeah, they have a hard job, and they're doing the best that they can. The problem that there is that they're following orders from people that don't have our best interests necessarily at heart. And that's where the issues come. That ACAB thing, all coppers are not bastards at all. They're very well-meaning to start with. I imagine every single one. There'll be a few that want to exercise demons from their past, I would suggest. There are definitely some that like the power. There are definitely some that hide behind the power. There are definitely some that exploit the power and their position. But that's the exception, not the rule. The difficulty is, though, when you move up into police, it's, from what I can see, the people that are on the street that end up getting the most fucked up and the most traumatised, that can handle keeping on doing it for longer. Again, though, I've only had experience with like 4 or 5 of them, so maybe that's just a clique within Cheshire Police. They're mean, big meanies and bullies. Yeah. But no, huge respect for the guys and girls on the street. I think we would do well as a society to put more respect on the bobbies on the street, and to separate out the bobbies on the street from the people that they're taking their orders from. Because the people that they're taking their orders from, and the people that they're taking their orders from, and the people that they're taking their orders from, that's when you get into it, and that's when motives are questioned. And I think the state of the country, we would be amiss to be anything other than dismayed. I think it's well known, spoken about openly, that the situation within the UK is challenging and quite sad. And underneath anger is always sadness. The huge rise in racism, underneath anger is always sadness. Racism's a difficult one with immigrants because it seems to keep the place safe in a weird way. I've been thinking about this, having experienced it on a small scale while living abroad, and also having seen my partner having experienced it every day. There is an element of it's hugely difficult to experience because you're just in a place trying to make the best, and you've got people that are trying to make it difficult on purpose because of the colour of your skin or where you're from. That feels really shitty, especially when it's repeatedly. Also, there seems to be an element of, if you don't have that, you end up in the situation the UK's in. Now, I've not worked through this idea very much in my head, but I'm definitely not condoning it. You know, as I have experienced it. I have a mixed race child, so, and I've experienced it on very, very, I've experienced it from people that are supposed to have a duty of care that have sort of backwardly used said discriminatory views to enable challenges to occur for particularly myself and my immediate family that otherwise may not have been a consideration for me to have to consider. Yeah, the world's mad, isn't it? I suppose you just have to limit it, I guess. You'd have to limit, like Australia used to do that. It used to be quite hard to get into Australia. So you're only letting people in that are going to benefit society. That seems logical. I don't know who's judge and jury of that and how you quantify that, because that's then going to be subjective, which then in its sense is discriminatory. It's like, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between discernment and discriminatory? And then just a rhetorical question. You know, I've known people that have been refugees that are, well, yeah, low skilled in terms of CV acumen, but highly skilled in potential and other abilities. So maybe you have to get to a point where it's like aptitude tests and stuff like that to discern the potential of someone rather than looking at a CV, because CVs are predicated on education, education is predicated on opportunity, opportunity is predicated on which class you're in or which country you're born into, and that's where there's no equality, and that's where it's not fair. Aptitude tests would be better. Fuck the whole CV thing off, because not everyone's got the same access to education. Part of my schooling was paid for, and literally in the we were in Spanish, right? This is one of the guys that ended up getting me thrown out as well. We were doing a Spanish GCSE, and there was a number of the teachers in the school that wrote the exams for the teaching board, so they could basically just tell you what to put on it. But literally, I remember one lesson, we were stood there and he was, I really want to say his name, but I'm not going to. He would write out what to put in your coursework and just leave the verbs blank. So I don't know, it'd be like el hombre blank al something something y después blank en el coche, like that, and you just fill in the gap, and then get like full marks almost, or really high marks. Yeah, the system is. It should be done more on aptitude. That's a good. I'm just thinking out loud here. That's pretty good, even if I do say so myself. Do it more on aptitude. But this is like this whole system is so messy now. It's been years and years of living in this matrix type web of manipulatable and manipulated and manipulating forces. It's really weird. It's very, very clever. Like, fair fucks to the people that fucked us up. I keep swearing on it. Do you know why I've been swearing more? Because I've been doing these videos. I've been swearing more because I've been doing these videos. That's funny, isn't it? Where's that anxiety coming from? I tend not to swear in normal life. I say fuckers a lot because that's what the dogs are. Interesting. Anyway. Yeah. But people aren't very strong, really. Some are. There's lack of them, though, isn't there? Strong men, specifically. There's definitely a plethora of strong women. Well, I say strong, dominant. There's a massive difference between dominant women and strong women. I'm all here for strong women. I'm definitely not all here for dominant women. Strong women are really important. They'll do the right thing. Depends what your definition of strong is, isn't it? Not anti-misogyny who just attacks men. Not a man-hater who's the opposite of the thing who's basically the thing that they're trying to be mad at. They're then the thing. If you've got a woman that's pissed off at misogyny, she's the exact same thing that she's pissed off at. She's doing the way around. She's a man-eater, make you work hard, make you sweat hard. Yeah, strong women are fucking well cool. Strong women, and women should be celebrated and like held at the absolute pinnacle of society. It's an absolute travesty. We're also missing something with sensitivity and or emotional capacity and connection with source energy. We're missing something with that. Women have it more, dogs have it more, animals have it more, men typically have it less. I don't think women should be like, I don't know, it's really difficult. Men should be the workarounds, the warriors. That's what we're here for. That's lions, isn't it? Like, we protect. Men protect, the women nurture. I don't see why we would want to do anything other than that, what we were built for. Okay, so why would we want to do anything other than what we were built for? Where would we get that messaging from? It would be through the media, wouldn't it? It would be through TV. Okay then, so how subliminal or not is that messaging that we're digesting for so long, that we've created these societal roles? I think this civilization, this time, because don't forget, like, we don't know how the pyramids were made. So that appears to be that there have been other civilizations before us that have had access to slightly different technologies. No? Is that not? If we can't explain the pyramids, so we don't know everything then, do we? We can't say how we got here, so science isn't that good, is it? Science is the humanistic conceptualization of what's going on in and around us. Say that again, because it's quite long. The humanistic conceptualization of what is going on in and around us. It's not perfect. It's not perfect science. Can't tell us everything. Can't tell us where we came from. Can't tell us how the pyramids were built. So maybe we found ourselves in a situation where we're a little bit entitled. And we don't know everything, and that's okay, and it's exciting. People have this attachment to these labels, and just like, being wrong is exciting. I don't get why it's not exciting to other people. Being wrong is an exciting opportunity for growth. Why would you want to be right all the time? And why would you fight that you're right when you know that you're wrong? That thing blads my head. I don't get that at all. Also, if you're wrong, why would you argue it? Because you know that the thing that you're arguing for is... I don't know. I don't understand that. But women are incredibly important. Men are incredibly important. I just don't think that we've got it all sussed. I don't think that we've got it all sussed out. I think not only do politics need reshaping rather than saying reform, I think the whole civilization, there is a possibility that errors in judgment may have been made along the way, and it's led us to an entitled headspace where we are not open to new opportunities and growth. And that in itself is a travesty, because if you're not searching for answers, you need standing still. And we just keep going down the same paths, and like, we're still searching for answers, but we're going down the same paths, whether it be AI and technology, or space exploration, or anything like that. Things that I'm not well versed in. Why are we not rethinking things? Why are we not going off on, why do we have to go like that? Why can't we go like that? Or why, if we're going down this road, we're like, oh, well, if we go like that, it might be better. No, because we have to go like this, because that's how it's done. Why? I can go, maybe I go down there and I realise that I was wrong. Then I go back to here, and then we go back up there, and then we go like that, and then we realise it's wrong. But then this bit is created higher because of what we learnt by going off. I think we're pretty entitled. I feel like we're an incredibly entitled civilization. Also, if capitalism was that good, right? Also, firstly, it feels like we're living in Hunger Games, in District whatever it's 1 or whatever it's called. Secondly, this is not that good, is it? If we've got homeless people, we've got people that live on the streets. That, and it's tax the rich, tax the rich. No, it's such a basic way of looking at it. No one thinks deep enough. They just, let's look at this thing is happening, and that's the thing, and that's what's going to be sorted. It's like, well, maybe, yeah, we could do that. We'll get ourselves into the situation we found ourselves in now. Why has that happened? Why has that happened? And why has that happened? Why has that consequence happened? And why has that happened before that? And go back and back and back and back and back until you get to the point of where you can actually make some positive change. Drill back on stuff to get to the actual reason, the actual point of it. Can't. We're just dealing with, it's like, okay, so a really good analogy of this is by taking an antidepressant, okay? So my analogy of taking an antidepressant, which I've taken recently because it took the edge off, because I couldn't exercise. If you're walking down a beach and you got your shoes on and your shoes come untied, taking an antidepressant with the goal of being happier or more comfortable, taking an antidepressant is like tying your shoelaces up and carrying on walking. It'll work, it's perfectly fine, but there may be another solution, which is where I'm going with this, and a life of wellness and therapy and exercise is like taking your shoes and socks off and walking freely along the sand. We don't look at that Firstly, probably because companies make money off selling antidepressants. Secondly, because it's more expensive to give people therapy and time consuming, because I guarantee you the majority of people that are taking antidepressants are not living a whole life of good food, good sleep, no alcohol, wellness, therapy, exercise. I guarantee that's not happening. I'll eat my hat. I was looking if I have a hat. I don't have a hat. I have some weird hat hair, but I don't have a hat. So, yeah. Oh man. I swear to God, right, if I don't get into this mad cool position in the future, and all these videos were just wasted. Actually, no, they wouldn't have been wasted because my kid can go back and watch them. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I love that little critter. I was going to say fucker then. Most people would think it would be mean to call your children or dependents little fuckers, but actually they are little fuckers because they just cause absolute chaos. Little fuckers. It's almost like little shits, but little shit's too cliche and also kind of a bit more mean. I think the ruder the word, the more the... What's the word I'm looking for? What is the word? Term of endearment. Term of endearment. Term of endearment. I'd really quite like to experience Australia. Their cocky people can't stand it, mate. Aye, fucking hell, can't. Don't know what accent that was. You got something on your nose. Hey, cunt, you got something on your nose. Sorry to all the Australian people for doing that. Oh, goodness gracious me. Look at this toy. I'm loving the fact that he likes cars. Yeah, it's fucking cool, that, isn't it? I really like cars. I'm really disappointed about this car rental thing's not going to be able to. I'm just going to have to shut it down. I don't think it's possible. I went to buy a business before COVID as well, and I spent literally 6 months. I bought all the IT, worked out all the systems, and then I was like, COVID came around. I was like, oh, actually, maybe we should wait a minute because this feels like the shit might hit the fan. And well, we all know what happened there. I spent like literally like, yeah, longer than 6 months getting ready to buy the business, getting the deal sorted, learning everything. And then and then the same thing with this. I get to the point, same thing with rugby with Exeter. I literally lost all the weight and got into a position where they were gonna basically give me my golden ticket into the pros. I'm on the Exeter Chiefs radar. The Exeter Chiefs want me to go down there and train with them and be part of their setup. I go through Taunton or go through the uni side. Like they're on, like it's not I'm on their radar. Like they're literally memory pathway. And then 2 weeks before I find out about my memory and do my knee. Yeah, I did my knee in my sleep as well. Obviously, it was just wear and tear, and I just obviously moved funny. But yeah, man, like just get so. It's like you get to the point where it's like green button and the week off. It's like the week off. The car stuff. I was waiting and checking the post every day to see when the tax would arrive, so I could post it all and push it all. Everything was ready. And then yeah, it's just like the universe had different plans, I guess. It happened with the car rental, it happened with Exeter. But these are like things that I worked on for like, especially the Exeter one, I guess, because that's like, everyone said that was impossible. I always knew that it wasn't. Frankly, I still do. The problem I've got now though is that life stresses are just so intense and just never feel supported that I'm struggling to be able to hit all of the goals that I need to hit in terms of like day to day, like specifically diet is a big one. Having the exercise is less so, and after that, but even that was like because of the car crash. Yeah, someone decided it was a good idea to ram into me as an insurance job. But we live in a system that you can't prove it. I didn't even know people did that. That's really bad. That karma's going to suck for him and probably be quite nice for me, but still something that, yeah, they're not complaining. And obviously they're not things that aren't meant to be. I am conscious that sometimes it sounds like I'm complaining, but I don't want it to. Because then complaining comes from victim, which comes from the victim. If you complain about something, you can fall into the victim mindset, which falls into not taking accountability. And that is not, and not taking ownership, and that's not conducive to progress for anyone, even the person that thinks that that's conducive to their progress. It's not. It's really hot today. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I felt really shit before. The stress is wild, man. I have collapsed because of it. My eyes go funny. And like I can fall over. To be fair, I've only fallen like properly collapsed from it like 2 or 3 times. I mean, I stumble a lot. My eyesight goes funny when I stumble. It's a bit wild. And I have to tell myself, stress isn't real, and like I'm doing that with my eyes because it feels weird. It's like when you collapse from stress, it feels like you're doing it on purpose yourself in a weird way. It feels really weird. And then I'm like, I did that myself, and I'll force myself up, and then I'll kind of lose my balance again. It's almost like my body's just like saying, my brain's like saying fight, my body's just saying no. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. What's made me go hyper now? I haven't even had any sugar. Oh, I miss my kids so fucking much. Breaking my heart. All this is breaking my heart. Also, the internet, man, like, if you're being mean to someone on the internet, that's because you've got unresolved shit. It's nothing to do with the thing that you're commenting on. Like, the internet's well toxic. Really, really mean and nasty place. Because there's no repercussions. You wouldn't sit in front of someone and say, someone said to me on here the other day, which was my first comment, was, I don't know if you're... It was a derogatory comment anyway, and I was just like, why has that made you feel better? I've noticed that on Instagram, people commenting negative stuff. It's usually people that don't agree with my worldviews, and then they're trying to fire back. And I don't know whether that's because it makes them feel uncomfortable, that then they feel the need to fire back, or whether it's because... It's probably to do with that. It's probably to do with feelings of unsafe, and I've caused them to feel subconsciously or consciously unsafe. Unabashed from their safety blanket. It's easier to be ignorant and be in a safety blanket. Trust me, it fucking is. But yeah, if you're being mean to somebody on the internet, it's got nothing to do with the person you're being mean about at all. We live in a culture where now, definitely online, it's normalised to be mean to people on the internet, which firstly, don't do that, and secondly, being mean to someone on the internet only means that you have firstly nothing better to do, because successful people don't go around doing that, and also you have self-worth issues, because it's typically, and this comes down to Jung's shadow side, which is the hardest thing to look at actually. Of all the work I've done on myself, the hardest thing is the shadow side work. Yeah, once you develop self-discipline, drinking a Coke Zero, you develop self-discipline. One of the hardest things to do is look at yourself. But you have to look at yourself to make progress. But then after you've looked at yourself and you figured out all your weaknesses were, then to be like, oh, now I need to do the shadow side work. Now that is an interesting concept. So if you see someone that you don't like, it's because you don't like something about yourself that they're showing. I used to get it with, a good example is people on the internet that do videos like this, or like shorts like this. And people are like, oh, grown men doing videos and all that. But that's because you kind of wish you could do it. And you could do it if you did the shadow side work and you stopped, I don't know, caring. But it's not like I don't care what people think, it's just, it's unimportant to how I progress. Positive or negative comments, because you've got to be the tree trunk, the solid tree trunk. That's got to be you, and the leaves and the branches move in the wind, but the tree trunk stays solid. And that took me a long while to get there, because you have to believe in your own convictions. It's like the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were saying about how some of my avant-garde views regarding linking the masculine, making women more manly and women more womanly, and tying some of like the bushy eyebrows stuff in and things like that. And I was thinking, I said something like, "Yeah, we think, oh, you all right?" And I was like, not only am I all right, I'm happy that you said that, because now it's tested my resolve in myself and my own convictions. And my answer, instead of going inward and feeling uncomfortable about it, was first one out of the trenches always gets clipped. And when we live on the internet where everyone's going really mean and nasty at people because it's like road rage, but you get away with it even more because no one can get out of the car. Anyone can just say anything and demean anyone and put down other people, but the people that are doing that are the ones that have the problems. And how many successful people do you get that spend their time on Living in Stockton Heath Facebook group slating something that someone said? Have you not got anything better to do? Ironically, talking to myself, in front of a camera in a car park in Fernhead. So, and I've now had 2 of these, and I feel kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And the dog's left outside because you know what he did this morning? Ran off and jumped in shitty water, and I don't have the capacity to deal with that this morning. So he's been putting the back garden, which I wouldn't normally do, but yeah. I'm starting to feel sad now. Just got to go back to the same. It's an escape doing these videos. It's an escape doing them, and I feel like when I have to turn them off means I have to go back to normal life, and that's challenging, and that makes me sad because I miss my baby. And I miss my partner a lot. I've just had so many responsibilities that this is the burden of being a man, I guess. Ah, man, I miss him so much. You just gotta have faith, trust the process, and get your head down, because I'm not going to commit suicide, because it's just not an option. Yeah, do you know what's crazy though? And this sounds really bad. I won't commit suicide because of my kid, basically. But the other day, I was having like a, I don't know what you call it. I've had panic attacks and stuff, so I kind of just position it as one of that. And I call it a panic attack. And I felt tightness of breath, and I was like, shit, what if I die here? And then my initial thought was, oh, thank God. I was relieved. And that's nothing to do with how much I love you, Leonardo. How much I love you is me staying here and just fighting it out. I will do everything I possibly can to ensure that you never have to feel the things that I felt. And that is the most important thing to me on planet Earth. And if I could quantify the amount of pain that I'm in, then you would never, ever, ever feel unloved, and that's exactly what I want. You're loved more than everything. I said that I would sacrifice anything for him, you, and I would, including my happiness, because tapping out of life right now would definitely be easier. But those bloody little fuckers as well, those dogs, they'll not end up in, Biggie won't end up in the right hands. Leonardo would mess him up. I just couldn't do it to them. They mean too much to me to hurt like that. But yeah, I'd like to, I don't know, anyway. What I was trying to say was, the other day, I thought there was a possibility that I might, or the thought crossed my mind, what if I did? And I was like, yeah, I'd be relieved. So, I don't know where to go with that. It's pretty depressing end to a video, but I guess it's real. I just think if you have a life where there's no drama and you're fairly settled, in the nicest way of saying this, you have no excuse than to get up and be an incredibly successful person. There's nothing stopping you. If there's nothing stopping you apart from yourself, come on. There are people that are really want to be in your position in terms of having the freedom and possibility to fulfill their potential, and if you're not doing it for lack of effort or discipline, when it goes back into confidence, then a long look in the mirror is probably what's in order for you lot. I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just you're wasting an opportunity of life, because everyone has the wherewithal, everyone has the cojones, everyone has the possibility, the potential to do whatever they want in life. So it's figuring out what you love and doing loads of it, but also believing in yourself that you can get somewhere, because you can. Anyone can. Anyone young that ever sees this, right? The best footballers in the world, aside from the ones that are, if you're not blessed athletically, then you need to be the best technically, and that just comes from practice, repetition, practice. The best footballers in the world are the ones that practice the most. Why did I not know that as a kid? Why didn't no one ever tell me that as a kid? If I'd have known that, I figured that out too late. I started practicing more when I got to like 18 and stuff. The best footballers are the ones that practice the most. That's it. Yeah, you'll get the ones that are freak athletes. Thank God, like me, which is hopefully why I'm going to be able to have a platform and able to share some of this knowledge. But if you're the best players, technically, they're the ones that practice the most. Everyone has the ability to do that. You could, tomorrow, if you decided that you wanted to be a champion, maybe something that's like, I was going to say like curling, but you need access to the equipment, especially like football or rugby or darts, or obviously you have a genetic predisposition to the things that make you good at it, then you'll be good at it, like I had fortunately with sport. But like, you can still be the best free kick taker. David Beckham wasn't the best athlete. He trained the hardest and had the biggest engine. David Beckham's a perfect example. David Beckham is a perfect example. How did he get to be the best at taking free kicks? He took the most free kicks in practice, and he was amazing at them. Why? Because he practiced more than anybody else. It's really actually simple. David Beckham's a perfect example of what you could make your life into. Yeah, he was born good looking. And if you weren't born good looking, you better be a better free kick taker than David Beckham then, eh? It's possible. It's just reps. It's just reps. Never believe it's not possible. It's just reps. Find what you love doing and do loads of it. Loads of it. Do more, just do the most. Find what you love doing and do the most of it. And if you can't do that, find a way to, if you're a bit older, find a way to manipulate your life situation into a scenario where you can do it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Side hustling, starting businesses, it's never been easier. Entrepreneurship has never been more important. Listen to me, someone. Entrepreneurship has never been more accessible with the internet. Just find what you love doing and do as much of it as you can, and then you'll live a very rich life. And then the trappings of capitalism will engage as well. And then you'll have a rich life on lots of different levels. A rich life isn't just monetary. It's being in the flow state as much as possible, losing track of time because you're enjoying the thing that you're doing so much. Believe that you can do it. The only reason that the best footballers footballers is a good example in the world, is because they practice the most. Look, you've got to have the dedication, you've got to have the self-belief. To be honest, you don't even actually, you do need the self-belief. It is obviously a prerequisite, but the biggest thing is just turning up regularly, consistency, and cutting out the shit. Sacrifice the things that are bullshit. But we live in a society that drills us to think like, when people make money, they just go and spend it all. We live in a society that says you've got to be a baller to be cool. You spend all your money. It's like, all right, I wasted all my money now, and now I'm not got my professional contract or whatever it is. Don't invest your money. The cool thing should be who's invested the most money. That should be the cool thing. Who's helped the most people. That should be the cool thing. Not who wastes the most money. That should be demonized, not glamorized. Oh man, if someone would just listen to me. If people would just listen to me, I swear you would benefit. The only time anyone sat down and listened to me, they was so invigorated afterwards. And I don't mean that in a boastful sense. They told me. But on the internet, as soon as someone disagrees with you, they'll start hating. But why are you hating? People don't think. No one engages their brains. No one thinks. Everyone just deals with surface level symptom bullshit. Mate, dig a little deeper for yourselves, for your families. If you're not happy, figure out a way to make it more so. Don't blame everybody else, especially if you've got access to, if you don't have drama. Whoa. I used to be a really big fan of the boxer David Allen. I thought, called the class clown type. Saw a lot of myself in him, really liked him. The class clown is the capable one that doesn't apply themselves because of lack of self-belief, I've realised. And he's in a position where a lot of people would dream to be, myself included, and he's not pulling his finger out. He's not living the life. David Allen could be world champion. He just doesn't think he could, so he's not doing it. And he just jokes about. I don't mean to dig David Allen out, but I'm mad at him at the minute. And it's weird to say that I'm mad at someone that I've never met on the internet, but yeah, you feel like you get to know people. I suppose that's kind of why I want to do this. People get to know me a bit. Someone would have to fucking watch it though, wouldn't they, for starters? I just really hope that all this shit that I've been through will enable, at the very least, my son to have a better life. And if this can be imparted on anyone else, I would ask you to try to be more objective. If you're getting to a point where you're not happy with the things that I'm saying, or you disagree with some of the views that I'm saying, I would ask you to ask yourself why. And if I'm wrong, it's okay that I'm wrong, because I'll learn and grow, and so will you. But if you can zoom out and look at things objectively, don't just believe because things are the way they've always been that that's the case. No, zoom out, think for yourselves, analyze the situation. What do you think? Why do you think that? That's the really important question, is why? Why do you think that? Why are you frustrated? Why do you have feelings of frustration watching a video of me talking? Okay, are you projecting stuff that you don't like about yourself? Are you feeling feelings of unsafeness? Am I representing a threat? You've got to think this thing through, and then you'll grow, and then you're on the road to being a really, really, really big success. Yeah, man, we can all do this. Don't waste your money, invest it. The cool thing should be who invested the most, who's got the most businesses, not who's helped the most people, not who's wasted the most money because of what Instagram tells us makes us happy when it doesn't make us happy. Money won't make you happy. It can't. It might alleviate. You might think it alleviates some of the stress. And yeah, it will, but it also creates more stress. Everyone's balanced. That's what karma is. Everyone is balanced. That is it. That is the thing. But we all also have the opportunity to manifest whatever we want, and that's been demonized like hippie woo woo. But like, you get these really, really, really successful people that talk about it. Jim Carrey, Conor McGregor, whatever you think of those people, ask yourself why you think those things, whether it be from a media perspective or a self perspective. And actually, I just got to a position where I was like, do you know what? I know this sounds ridiculous from someone that talks about suicide fairly regularly, but just believe, man. Have that faith. Like, I was thinking, like, if this manifesting thing, if this affirmations thing, if it isn't bullshit, then what have I got to lose by asking for, like, the biggest stuff I can think of? But if you write those checks, you have to cash them. Not the greatest analogy, but if you ask for stuff, like, God will give it you, but he won't just give it you straight away. You have to earn it, and he'll put you through tests in order to get to the point where the thing is possible to be then manifested into your life. And that's, I think, what I'm falling copy to at the moment, is I've asked for things that are so high-minded that the path is also challenging to get there. And be careful what you wish for, I guess. But as I say, it's easy to say that in my position because I haven't actually, on paper in capitalism, achieved anything. Even though I'm sober 5 years in August, and I've protected the ones that I love under extreme conditions on more than one occasion. I don't mean judicially. I mean, I've picked up my dog over my head and ran away from being attacked by an Alsatian. Anyway, there's loads of stuff. But I think that there's a possibility that the system has been purposely set up to make it difficult for anyone to break out of it. I think there's a possibility of that. And I think that it's not fair. So do with that what you will, because this is like 50 minutes, I'm tired. Bye, internet.